What is going on, you guys? It's your boy Average Bob, and in today's video, we are up to week 17 of the 2024 NFL season, where the Giants have been an abomination throughout. A couple things to touch on this game this week versus the Colts, but where I want to get started was I did post a video after last week's game of Evan Neal, and we've had some new people join the channel since then. It was probably my most commented video. It was a YouTube short, and the algorithm works different than compared to this more long form videos. But I do want to touch on a couple things within that video because there were some comments that were like, "You're a hater. You would never say this to his face." And the video, if you haven't seen it, I just posted the clip from last week where Evan Neal is attempting a cut block on the defensive end in the Falcons game when Neighbors is running like a quick slant or a quick in route. So the ball's got to come out quick as a tackle. His job is to cut the edge rusher defensive end as quickly as possible just so that he can get his hands down and the ball can't get deflected because it's a quick, I don't know, like two-step drop. And the quarterback's taking it, looking and ripping it. And in that video, Evan Neal completely whiffs. So it was a 0 out of like 10 on the scale of actually doing your job in a competitive environment. So completely whiffed, didn't do his job at all. And then a couple other guys also messed up, but and the result of the play was a pick six going the other way. And to say that I am a hater because I said he's the worst tackle in the league when you watch the video and see for yourself that he is really not capable or athletic enough to play at that position in this level. If that makes me a hater, so be it. And if I ever saw him and it was in an environment, like I would love to just be like, hey man, like what's going on? Like, how are you consistently good in high school and college and then just suck on the Giants? Like, is it something? It's got to be something with an organizational standpoint because there's a large comparison with Evan Neal and Eric Flowers and whether he's Eric Flowers 2.0. Well, if we could recall Eric Flowers, he was drafted, I think like 9 or 10 overall, and he was drafted very young. He might have been 19 or 20 years old, very young. And he struggled to adjust to the play at the NFL level. Not that he was really heralded at Miami anyway, coming out of that draft, but the Giants took a risk on him to try and develop him. Didn't work out for the Giants. Was able to move to guard, I believe, on the Commanders, and then on Florida. His last contract was like a 3-year, $30 million deal. So he did have success enough that a team, let's say the Dolphins, were able to pay him, even though they weren't good in that time period. But he was able to make that transition. And one thing that he did say at the end of his tenure at the Giants was like, "I'm so happy to be done with this place." Whether it was the media, I think he got in a shoving match with Jordan Renan one time, and Renan downplayed the entire situation. But it just goes to show you, even for as young as a kid as Eric Flowers was in that time, emotionally not there, mentally probably not there either, that he's going to shove a little beat reporter, right? Um, and I wonder how close this scenario is, again, to playing out with Evan Neal. Very plausible. I think if the Giants try to trot him out at right tackle again next year, and sorry, I have a lot of thoughts going through my head as I'm just laying this out right now. But is there an opportunity for him to move to guard? Potentially, but Evan Neal was drafted to play tackle. He's only played tackle in high school and in college pretty much his entire life, and he's also been on the record in stating, I'm playing tackle. I'll never play guard. So then that's a scenario where you're going to cut ties with another person that you invested heavily in. And egg on the face of Joe Shane, who's likely coming back, and it looks like Dable, who's falling on this diabolical grenade and will be gone. So is it plausible for Evan Neal to move to guard? I mean, maybe he looks horrifically unathletic and has no base and strength in his current skill set at tackle. Um, and I think when people say that they should just move from tackle to guard, it's a it's a different position, right? It'd be like, if someone's playing tennis and then they're playing pickleball or ping pong, right? Technically, it is you're swinging a racket of sorts, and it is within that realm. But the skill set is different between each one, and the same thing applies from guard to center to tackle. Um, Anytime in practice when I played every position in practice, never played him guard or center in games, but when I play practice predominantly a tackle, and they're like, "Hey, could you play guard?" Got to be a team guy, and say, "Yeah, I'll play guard, whatever we need." If someone goes down and there's a better off for team scenario where I'm better at guard than someone else, and someone else could bump the tackle, let's do it if it's going to help us win games. Um, and with that, you're going against a different level of athleticism between a edge rushing outside linebacker defensive end compared to an interior defensive lineman. What you're going to have to do with your body is a little bit different as well. And then guards are also asked to be athletic in terms of pulling and getting out there on screens. And right now, I just don't think Evan Neal has the pure athleticism to really play any position on the offensive line. From a strength and physicality standpoint. And he's got to hit the reset button completely. If he wants to play tackle again here next year, he's going to have to hit the reset button completely. And again, just to close the loop on this Evan Neal conversation and to say that I'm a hater because Evan Neal talks smack about all of us as Giants fans and the people that went to those games. He said those words, not us. So there will be no one shedding tears for Evan Neal. Evan Neal has had every opportunity to do what he's needed to do at this level, and he's not produced. He's also been negative towards the fan base for the deserved criticism of that. So I don't know. He could kind of kick rocks at this point, and to call me a hater for that is frankly bullshit. And also, this is how sports content goes. Like, am I supposed to just sit here and be like, oh no, the sunshine and rainbows every day when we're like 2-13 and putting up like 10 points a game and everyone looks terrible and the quarterbacks are getting killed left and right again? Maybe there's channels like that. I'm not going to do that. And I can run the channel really however I want. And one thing I'm going to be completely honest about is being objective, especially at the offensive line position, because it's the position I'm most equipped to give my point of view on. So that's that. Let's move on to the Colts game this weekend. This is the first chance that the Giants have ever gone winless at home. They come into this one as 7.5-point underdogs. Again, seems like there's another rainy, miserable MetLife Stadium day coming up. I'm recording this Saturday morning. It's absolutely miserable outside right now and pouring rain. I don't think it's supposed to be raining as much around kickoff tomorrow, but I'm not sure. But it was funny. I saw a post earlier being like, is John Mara controlling the weather? Because now they can't have a plane go around the stadium because of the weather conditions. So with that, I think the Colts this season, I'm not sure if they shut down Jonathan Taylor, who's been their bell cow running back. I didn't really follow the Colts much at all this year, really. I think if you did, it was probably because you had Anthony Richardson as your fantasy quarterback or plugged him in when you had a bye week or something, and or having Jonathan Taylor on your squad. Otherwise, not sure how often you'd be following what's transpiring with their season. So I don't have the most depth to talk about that. I'm sure there's other great breakdowns on other channels, so please go check them out if you want a full breakdown of the upcoming Colts Giants game. Really, what I want to talk about here is how sad it is that we're at this point where there are season ticket holders and people that pay their hard-earned monies, their dollars, and to pay for a PSL, a personal seat license. And if you don't know what it is, I could probably do a whole video of that in the offseason to explain it. But just give it a Google and you'll see what a PSL is and how big of a scam it actually is. And to think that all these people that put their hard-earned money into this team themselves for an entertainment factor and got less than 0% return on that really sucks. And I hope that the Giants can figure out a way to fix this. I mean, if Dable seems like he's gone because you can't bring back a coach who won 2 games, it just is what it is. Whether you won the Coach of the Year 2 years ago in some fugazi way and you stole a playoff game on the road, which, you know what, I'll give him credit. It wasn't hard. It's a hard task to do in this league, and clearly it's hard to win a single game, right? But this was a team that was agreed upon as we watched on Hard Knocks between Brian Dable and Joe Shane. And this was always a plausible scenario based on what they built. Seems like Shane's going to stick around, but his hands are all over this too. And I wonder if they blow this next draft and whoever they take at quarterback, I mean, then we're really, really in trouble here, guys. So we'll have to figure out how to pair the quarterback and the coach. together for success. And I'll probably do a deeper dive into this and some recent examples of where that happens and what the Giants can learn from that. But again, I think my main point here is that it just really sucks for all of these fans who have paid their hard-earned money, taking negative return on value for their tickets, and potentially, seeing not a single win at home, which is a little crazy and pretty rock bottom for the franchise and organization. So, yeah, hopefully the calendar year switching to 2025 is a new turning of the page for this franchise, even though will be one game after this week. So yeah, the Eagles, which we'll talk about that when the time comes. Anyway, let's jump over to the best of the last week of Reddit. On this day, 13 years ago, Christmas Eve, Victor Cruz completes a NFL record-tying 99-yard. We've all seen it. Let's just play it. I wonder if I get some audio here. But this was all time. This was peak Jets-Giants rivalry. This play kind of single-handedly ended the Jets' hopefulness for greatness with Rex Ryan, and alongside the butt fumble and everything like that, which was really the end of it. But at this point in time, the Jets were fighting. They were a pretty Ramses Barden down there. They were decent. And this was a backbreaking one that I play specifically, too, that I don't think they ever recovered from. And then the Giants went on a run and won another Super Bowl. So, I mean, kudos to Victor Cruz just being all-time. Who is the guy's name? McGraw? There's a white defensive back on the Jets that was terrible. Not Tim McGraw. Or whoever it was, he was tough, but Cromartie was good. The Jets had some good teams. I do miss, as much as like Rex Ryan would talk so much shit to the Giants about Giants fans, and this is Jet Life Stadium and all of that stuff, smack talk. It was fun. It made it competitive, and I think we're really sorely missing that in sports in this day and age, where really the only thing it seems to be like most people care about is cash, and that really seems to be like is getting yours and getting whatever you can over winning or rivalry or caring about the city and team that you represent. Seems like a very long time ago. Maybe this is just me being nostalgic. I don't know. You could tell me I'm wrong here. 6 days ago, Raiders beat the Jags, or back in the number 1 seed for the number 1 overall pick. Yeah, funny meme here as we're celebrating being on the bottom of the totem pole. A lot of stuff around the Giants having the overall pick. Malik Neighbors on passing Odell Beckham Jr. and Saquon Barkley to set the Giants rookie record for catches in a season. Kudos to me, but we didn't win. Yeah, Neighbors, he's unapologetically who he is, whether it's right or wrong. And it'll be interesting to see how he evolves as a person and an individual, because I don't see the losses. There will still be tons of losses next year, no matter what the situation is. And will he be someone that, how do they react to that? How do you react to you constantly giving the media headlines, and then also having monster drops to back it up, but also playing well? So he's got a lot to evolve in from, I don't know, a maturing standpoint. If this was someone that I knew personally, that's what I would think of them. Once a Giant, always a Giant. Antonio Pierce getting the win. Could have just done fine here, Santa, with the Jones jersey. That's brutal. And then, so let's just touch on these next two things, then we'll end it. Thanks to the fans that came out. This is another Neighbors quote to support us this year, but we've got to be better. But yes, next year the fire is burning up inside me to give those fans a show anytime I'm out there on the field. Okay, yeah, you could start by, not having key drops in some of the biggest positions in games, but you play really good too. So what are we supposed to say? But worry about yourself, and the front office will do their thing, hopefully. fire everyone. And I posted this in one of my videos or whatever, but worst outright record in the league, 1966, winless at home, 1974. Okay, so it has happened. Winless in the division, never. So these two things could actually happen. So next home game versus Colts tomorrow could be the last one. So they could set a new record here, and then winless versus the division. So that'll be interesting because the Eagles will probably have a playoff spot locked up, obviously. So will it just be like, are they going to play their backups and hand the Giants a division win and potentially hurt their number 1 overall draft pick? I wouldn't put it past them. We'll see what happens. And then the last time they held the number 1 pick was 1965, probably pre-Super Bowl era. So there you have it. Hope you guys had a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, and a new Happy New Year over the next coming days. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Let's go Giants.